J.P. Morgan was one of the most important businessmen in the history of the United States. He was born in 1837 in Hartford, Connecticut, and he grew up to become a powerful banker. His full name was John Pierpont Morgan, but most people just called him J.P. Morgan. He is famous for helping to shape the American economy in the late 1800s and early 1900s. When J.P. Morgan was young, his family was already very successful. His father, Junius Morgan, was a banker, and he taught his son a lot about business. J.P. Morgan studied at schools in Europe and the United States. He was very smart and learned quickly. After he finished his education, he started working in his father's business. This was the beginning of his long career in banking. At first, J.P. Morgan worked for his father's bank in London. After a few years, he moved to New York City and joined another bank called Drexel, Morgan & Company. This was the start of his big success. He was very good at managing money and making deals. People started to trust him, and his bank grew stronger. In the 1870s and 1880s, J.P. Morgan began to buy other companies. He was very good at finding businesses that were struggling and helping them become successful. One of his big moves was when he helped build the railroad industry in the United States. Railroads were very important because they carried goods across the country, and J.P. Morgan made sure they ran smoothly. He made smart decisions about which railroads to invest in, and this helped him make a lot of money. As he grew older, J.P. Morgan became more powerful. He did not just invest in railroads, but also in other industries like steel and electricity. In 1901, he helped create U.S. Steel, the first billion-dollar company in the United States. This company made steel, which was used to build many of the important buildings, bridges, and factories in the country. J.P. Morgan's ability to bring together different businesses and create large companies made him one of the richest men in America. But J.P. Morgan was not just a businessman. He was also known for his role in helping the United States during times of financial trouble. In 1893, there was a big financial crisis in the country. Many banks were in trouble, and people were afraid that they would lose their money. J.P. Morgan stepped in and helped to fix the situation. He brought together different banks and gave them money to keep them safe. This action helped calm people's fears and save the country from a deeper crisis. Another important moment came in 1907 when there was another financial panic. Many banks and businesses were on the verge of failing, and the country was facing a serious problem. J.P. Morgan worked hard to fix the crisis. He called together many of the top bankers in the country and convinced them to lend money to the banks in trouble. He used his influence to make sure the country did not fall into a deep depression. People saw J.P. Morgan as someone who could help solve big problems. J.P. Morgan was known for being a very strong and sometimes difficult man. He had a lot of control over his bank and the businesses he worked with. He made decisions that many people respected, but sometimes others disagreed with him. He believed in using his power to help the country, but he also believed in making money. Some people thought he was too powerful and that he had too much control over the country's economy. One of the things that made J.P. Morgan special was his ability to bring people together. He was not just a businessman. He was also a leader who could influence important decisions. He was a master of managing money and making smart investments. Many people trusted him because he was good at solving problems. His success was not just about making money. It was also about helping the country in difficult times. Despite his success, J.P. Morgan also faced challenges. As he became more powerful, some people started to criticize him. They felt that he had too much control over businesses and banks. In 1911, the U.S. government decided to break up some of the big companies that J.P. Morgan had helped create. They believed that big companies like U.S. Steel were too powerful and that it was not good for the economy. This decision was part of the government's effort to control big businesses and make sure that no one person or company had too much power. J.P. Morgan did not live to see the full effects of this change. He died in 1913 at the age of 75. Even after his death, his name remained famous because of all the work he did to shape the American economy. Many people still remember him as one of the most important businessmen in the history of the United States. J.P. Morgan's legacy is still important today. His work helped build the modern American economy. Many of the businesses he created are still successful, and the ideas he had about managing money and building companies are still used in the world of business. His life shows how one person can have a big impact on a country's economy and its future. J.P. Morgan's story is not just about making money, but also about solving problems and helping people. He faced many challenges during his life, but he always found ways to overcome them. He used his intelligence, his skill in business, and his strong will to create a lasting legacy that is remembered even today.